so now all the sanding's done and I want to add a little glaze, so I decided to go ahead and make a blue glaze because this color was starting to turn more green seafoam and I really wanted to look more blue. So I just have some clear mixing glaze here and I poured some onto my plate and I just added a few drops of some more, you know, like house wall paint and sort of like a turquoise color, and just mixed it up and I got this color right here. So I'm just taking the same brush and you just get a little on there. You don't want too heavy. And then I'm highlighting all the dips and crevices. So like these little fluting areas here, you just kind of paint it on and get it however heavy you want it. And then just take a rag and just wipe like the top surface. And what happens is, see, it'll stay in there. Now I don't want it quite that bright, so I probably will brush some of that out, lighten it up a little bit, and then wipe it down a little better. And then I'm doing the same thing like in all the corners, like where trim meets and all that type of thing. Just wipe it down, and then the corner will be highlighted with that blue, and it'll make this thing really pop. So once I'm done with this blue, I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna go with more of like a brown glaze to kind of make this thing look old and dirty. So I'll do that next. So I'm doing the same thing with that brown. Just gonna add a little bit of the brown, add some glaze. And I'm not even worried about cleaning up the blue. It'll just add to the effect. We're just gonna get kind of a gross, ugly mud color. And we'll do the same thing, except this time I'm actually just gonna put it everywhere, but I'm gonna try not to get it into the divots. So I'm just gonna kind of wipe it over the entire surface. And I have to go a little bit light and be quick to wipe this one off. It's gonna make it look kind of gross and dirty. Quickly wipe most of that off. You get a really cool effect like that. Just makes it look old and grungy. Now let's do this to the entire thing, wipe it down, and it'll be ready to go. I might go ahead and add a clear coat just to make it last a little longer. You don't have to, but I'll go ahead and show you how to do that anyway. But I'll show you what this looks like when it's done next. All right, so that dirty glaze dried, and now this thing looks really old and grungy. It took a few hours because the glaze, for whatever reason, it takes a lot longer to dry, and it has to be completely dry to touch before you handle it. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of sticky. But you can just see how it looks dirty, but I still kept the blue glaze in like the sunken areas and around the edges of trim and all that. So it just kind of gives it a cool little highlight, brings out the blue. Another thing I wanted to mention was I did a lot of sanding for distressing, but then I also took a screwdriver and I just scratched a few areas. You can kind of see right there, I just nicked it real quick. In this corner over here, I did a lot of scratches just to make it look kind of realistic, like something banged against it over time. But the whole thing just looks nice and dirty. So what I'm gonna do now is, you could just leave it alone like this, but if you ever wanted to wipe it down, or if someone else was gonna wipe it down clean, some of the glaze may come off over time, so we're actually going to put a clear coat on it, a really easy clear coat, just to protect it a little bit. So I'll show you how to do that, and then this thing will be done. We can peel the paper off, do final touch-ups, and be ready to go.